Hi, I'm Alex Gilson. I hope that after you view this 5-minute workshop, the how-tos and whatnots of font usage, you will be able to travel the font highway with no accidents, although sometimes you may have to slow for the font police. Chapter 8 generated a lot of questions regarding font usage. For example, some of the top questions were, what is a serif versus what's a sans serif font? When can I use a fun font? Am I using the right font to communicate my message effectively? Does the font design generate the feedback I wanted? Do I always have to use the same old font? One of the consistent questions that I had was, what exactly is a sans serif versus a serif font? A sans serif font is one that does not have legs. If you'll notice, by typing in the word sans, you can see that all of the corners are all nice and smooth. Now, when I use a serif font, such as, say, Times Roman, something that you're used to seeing a lot of, it's considered one of those reading fonts. I'm going to just take it into Times Roman. And now, check this out. You see these little legs right here and here on all of your tips, on all the bottoms, you see these little legs, and they're called serifs. The sans means without for all of you linguistics out there, and then the serif means with legs. So we've got sans without legs, okay? One of the things that I'd really like to show you, because there's so many tons and tons of fonts out there available, we talked a little bit about using those cute, groovy, cool, funky, fun kind of fonts. Well, what are you trying to get across to your audience? What feedback do you want them to achieve? For example, I think everybody has probably seen this particular quote. Actually, it's not I will dream, it's I have a dream. Martin Luther's famous quote. Here it is in one of those serif fonts, Times New Roman, and it just looks like it's something that you're going to read. Okay, now let's change it out to a bold font. I have a dream. Okay, so let's take this and let's bring it into a bold impact font. In fact, the font that I'm going to use is one called Impact. It adds it's what Martin Luther King, I think, was trying to come across when he was describing the racial inequality of the times. He wanted it to come across where you have this visual picture of slave ships and lynchings and things like that. Now let's see what happens if we simply change that font to one of those fun, funky fonts that everybody wants to use. Now, voila, we have little Susie Who in Dr. Seuss's Grinch Stole Christmas talking about, I have a Christmas dream. For some reason, I don't think that's what Martin Luther had in mind when he was talking about his dream of racial inequality, or racial equality. Simply by just changing that font gives you a whole new look. We go from little Susie Who to Dr. Martin Luther King. If you're like me and you get tired of using the same fonts, the Arial family and Times New Roman, or maybe you'd like a better understanding of fonts that really work well together. In my world, the guru of fonts, and the best way to use them, is a gentleman by the name of Daniel Will Harris. Check out the slide for his website. It's an entertaining look at font and font usage. Well, entertaining to a design geek. Now that you have a better understanding of fonts and font usage, I'd like to see how I did. Please click on the link under the screen and take a super short quiz. And remember, effective communication communicates effectively.